Raikkonen on his way.
Never won in Brazil, Kimi Raikkonen. He has won 14 Grand Prix in various countries around the world, but Brazil is not one of them. And looks like he's going to chalk one up here. And what an important one. What a stylish way to win the World Championship with a victory on Ayrton Senna's home soil. He's about to come through then and begin his last lap. Teammate Felipe Massa, he did the honourable thing today. He'll be sad that he didn't have a chance himself of the World Championship. Alonso is almost a minute behind the Ferraris. Such has been the domination of the red cars here this afternoon. And then, of course, it's Rosberg, who is without doubt my candidate for driver of the day, when Martin and I discussed that a little later on. Kubica 5th, Heidfeld 6th, Hamilton 7th now, just under 10 seconds behind the BMW. It's been a heck of a storming drive back, considering how much he lost to be just 10 seconds behind Nick Heidfeld, but it's not enough.
Well, those soft tyres are working fine on the Ferrari. The Ferrari's been kind to its tyres all year. Massa sets the new fastest first save of anybody in the entire Grand Prix on his final lap. Hamilton just 9.6 seconds behind Heidfeld, 11 behind Kubica, nowhere near, unfortunately, where he needs to be.
Massa looks like he's going to try and set the fastest lap of the race on the last lap, as you say. Raikkonen, though, is at the bottom of the hill. It's the big climb up the hill now that will make him the world champion of 2007. He came here third out of 3. He's going away in the lead. He is going to be world champion. Kimi Raikkonen wins the Brazilian Grand Prix. His first victory here, the 15th of his career, and by no doubt the most important. Massa finishes in 2nd place. Alonso is going to come in 3rd, and the dream is over for Lewis Hamilton. Kimi Raikkonen is world champion of 2007 unless Rosberg and Kubica collide on the last lap.
Yes, but because Lewis is a lap behind, he can't complete the last lap. So whatever happens now, he is nailed down in 7th position. They can all run into each other. He will not gain any places.
Absolutely right. Raikkonen wins. Massa 2nd, Alonso 3rd, Rosberg 4th, Kubica 5th, Heidfeld 6th, Hamilton 7th, and Jarno Trulli in 8th place. Well, Raikkonen led the World Championship after the first round in Australia, and he's not led it too much since then, but he's led it when it really mattered. The final round, and he is the world champion, taking it away from Fernando Alonso, who crosses the line here in a very distant 3rd place. And there's Nico Rosberg, very happy with his afternoon's work.
Let's remember, Raikkonen has won 6 Grand Prix this year. He's not lucked into or reversed into. He's had reliability issues. Hamilton's car has been bulletproof by and large, and it seems as if it let him down today.
Well, they call him the Iceman, but there's a bit of a show of emotion going on in that cockpit now. He cannot believe it. He did absolutely everything right. It's been such a strong second half to the season by Kimi Raikkonen. And Lewis Hamilton is going to have to come back here next year and do it all over again.
Okay, it's all over. It's all over. Hamilton 7th. Hamilton 7th. By my calculations, we win the championship by 1 point.
Chris Dyer there, his engineer, confirming what we all think too.
And you have to go back to China 2 weeks ago, don't you? You have to look at that decision by the McLaren team to keep Hamilton out on completely worn-out tyres. They tried to finish the job off there in China. If they'd have just brought him in and put him on a new set of boots, he would have gone away with at least 5 and probably 6 points, and it would have been a very different story here this afternoon. But on such things do World Championships turn, and it's turned completely 360. David Robertson, the manager of Kimi Raikkonen, possibly one of the men who knows him best, is now with Louise Goodman.
David, can you believe what's just happened?
Yeah, that's what's happened.
I mean,
He's become the champion of the world, which he's always wanted. And bless him, he really deserves it. Kept his mouth shut, he's done the job, and up popped the championship. So, to me, he's by far the best driver, the coolest kid in the world. And today was a typical example of what he's all about.
When you arrived here this weekend, I mean, there was an outside possibility, but did you really think he could clinch it today?
To be honest, yes, I did. And I felt very positive all weekend, as is Kimi, as he always does with every race he steps into. And that spreads up onto me. And I've got to tell you that a lot of the press around here are more than happy that he's managed to pull this out. Off from what looked like a pretty slim chance, he went and done it. So, fantastic.
Louise Goodman there with Kimi Raikkonen's manager, and he's pretty pumped about it. What an incredible result. As we look at the Drivers' Championship standings there, Raikkonen by 1. Both the McLaren drivers tied in points terms, but Lewis confirmed as second in the series.
Yeah, on a count back of second place finishes, he does finish up ahead of Alonso. And look, our British-based commentators are a little bit biased towards Lewis, and rightly so, but that guy there has really been on fire in the second half of the year. He's won in the damp, he's won in the dry, and he won round 1 back at Albert Park. He had struggled for a while there, but he really has been Mr. Consistent, and that's what winning championships is all about.
One of the things I was going to talk to you about before, race drivers don't often like to talk about luck. You blokes are great believers in you make your own luck. He has had his share of bad luck, Kimi, this year, and you're quite right. He's fought back. He's earned this championship, hasn't he?
He has, and look, Lewis Hamilton has had very little bad luck. He's had everything go his way, but it just was the worst day for things not to go wrong. I mean, you've got to feel for the guy to have that small mechanical problem, but he's really lucky in some respects that the car even kept going. But, you know, Kimi has stayed out of trouble. He hasn't had any big incidents, and he has been Mr. Consistent.
The red team conquer Brazil. It was Massa last year. In 2007, it's Kimi Raikkonen, and he is the new world champion. You will hear from him right after the break as we wrap up the series. What a year, what a final race. More in a moment. A little bit of history in Formula One.